Hello, 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 good day! We have a castle event in DML. This is part 1 of the Divine Fest Castle, a birthday, which is, I expected a bit more than just a birthday, but either way we will be taking a look at this new castle event and how you can actually get your way through it, although I don't have the cheapest chess paths yet. But anyway, greetings Dragon Master Eliza, be not afraid. Whoa, be not afraid. A dragon like you should be far in the future instead of meddling in the past. Something must be wrong. Do you not think you are being a bit hypocritical, Master Eliza? In any case, my time travelling denotes a mission of great importance. I am not in the mood for missions of great importance. And why do you keep calling me Master? Aren't you a god? Have you forgotten? You are very important to my kin in the far future. Actually, you are important even in the present. Now, Eliza, hear my mission for you. You are to attend a birthday party for the newest divine of the Golden Pyramid. You may bring a +1 if you wish. Aya X Eliza. Aya X Eliza. I'm not even joking, it's actually Aya X Eliza. Anyway, this is a birthday, and just like we expected, there are 6 levels to this castle event, and we have a bunch of divine tickets as rewards. So we've got 30, 20, 10, 5 and 5, so that's a nice little bonus of, what is it, 70? Yes, that is 70 tickets. And then we've also got the quest at the bottom that we're going to have to do within the next 10 minutes, because then we're going to get a new reset. And the resets are a really important mechanic to understand, and mainly the fact that you need to be progressing to these higher levels as quickly as possible, because the higher the level that you're on, the more currency that you can earn per reset. So for instance, right now on level 1 we can earn 200 per task, and then in 8 minutes we'll be able to get another 200 per task. And if we go on the DML wiki, it shows us that on level 2 it's going to be 200, but then at level 3 you can get 250 per task, level 4 300 per task, level 5 450 event currency per task, and then at level 6 it'll be 650 event currency per task, which means that the sooner you get to level 6, the more currency you can be earning. So you really need to get through this event as fast as possible early on to give yourself the best chance. So this is amazing, Eliza. Thanks so much for inviting me. I don't think I've ever been to an official divine birthday party before. And CHRONO ERLANG SHEN Dragon, it's great to see you. How's the distant future? If our mission succeeds, it will be peaceful. Apparently, CHRONO ERLANG SHEN's fate rests on us attending this party, or something. I don't quite get it, but I suppose we should have fun. Let's go. So yeah, Aya and Eliza are literally going to a party together. I am in love. Greetings, Emissary. I trust you'll allow us entry to the party in the underworld. Oh my goodness, all of his eyes blue. He looks so cute. Halt! I can sense you are divine, but I do not know you. It's my duty to protect the underworld, and I must vet even the gods. But wait, I've heard of these humans. One of them can understand our language, the other can understand our feelings. I have always wanted to battle them. Okay, we will decimate you, Emissary. Actually, is this a bug? Is that an eye bug? Why is the eye permanently closed? I thought it was going to open up. What a rousing battle. Please step inside. Ha! Well, I like VIPs around here. It's nice to be such good friends with dragons, isn't it, Eliza? Yes, I suppose it is. Okay, so I guess Emissary is bugged, which is a thing. But of course, the other thing I haven't really spoken about, obviously, we've got to get onto those highest levels as fast as possible, but I haven't actually discussed the reward dragon. So from this event, you can get your hands on the Divine CHRONO ERLANG SHEN dragon for getting all of the pieces for this dragon, and then you can also get your hands on the epic Ancient Emissary dragon. And the reason that you want to get your hands on this dragon is because it is part of the CHRONO Isis collection. So the only way you can get CHRONO Isis is if you collect him, the other castle event dragon, and get Horus and Ame no Uzume from the altar. But we need to get through level 1 and level 2 ASAP right now. And the other thing to be taking note of with this event is that you do need to have as many unique elements on your team as possible so that you can get all of these event battles done. Later on, it will become a much more in-your-face issue, but it's something that you need to be aware of. But anyway, we're going to do this battle here, and why is it putting just Saini in first slot only? Like, why is it doing that? Like, why do we not have our better dragons in first slot? What? I was wondering, like, there aren't any restrictions yet. Why is the game like this? I don't know. The game is weird at times, is all I know. But we're going to spend our currency, hopefully get on level 2 really quick, and then we're going to go and collect all of that event currency that we need, because we desperately need it before the reset timer comes in. So yes, every 6 hours you need to be logging into this event and getting 100% of the event currency, because you'll see now we're at 0, which means that we need to collect this currency in order to get the chest. So we've got the typical quests: gold, food, breeding, feeding, winning, battles, and catching creatures. And so some of these are really, really obvious. The catching creatures, you'll see them flying around. Click all of them, get all your points. Collecting gold, super obvious. You can just click them like this and then get all of the currency from that. You can also collect it using the gold vault, which I will do in a second. Then for collecting food, people often ask which is the best food to use. The best food for you to pop in would be hour-long food or 6-hour-long food. So I either use squarey berries or spring cherries, but if you don't have a lot of cash on you, then you can use the cheap dragon scale food, 24,000 gold every 6 hours. You'll keep up with the event resets that way. So I am going to pop in some squarey berries. Actually, I can't yet, so spring cherries it is for now. We'll collect some gold in a moment. Now, the main one that people struggle with in these events, and they can be a bit of a problem, is the breeding quest. Because the question is, what do you actually breed to get 200 points every reset? And obviously later on, how do you get all the points from those? Well, early on, the best thing that you can be breeding is fire and metal, because this will give you a war dragon. And it's the only possible result, so you're guaranteed to get it, and it will give you 250 points, I believe. And so since the cap is 200, you'll get all 200. But when you go beyond being able to collect that amount of cash, not cash, event currency, you will have to change the breeding combination, and we will go through that in a moment. And then feeding is super easy. Get a level 1 dragon, feed it up, and there you go. It's already done before level 5. So we can just go ahead and we can sell that elephant. The other problematic quest that we've got in this event is actually winning battles, because it doesn't seem like it would be a tough quest to have to do. But the problem is, if you are someone that is working off of natural regen energy and you don't have 1,200 energy saved up like me, these events will get very difficult later on. Like, the first few levels are going to be fine, and you can always do a few arena battles to make up for the extra battles, for like the extra points that you need if you have to do a few battles at once. But when you have to get 650 points on the final level of the castle event, it's basically impossible if you're using natural regen. And this is something that we did point out as a major issue when they changed the whole energy system from like being able to use portal gems. Gameloft don't care. So I don't really have anything else to say to you apart from, well, if you haven't saved energy, you're probably going to get a bit ruined. Either that or you need to really beg your friends to be gifting you gifts like all the time, but I don't know, it's gonna be tough, especially for newer players, but you'll see that after me doing that, we have all of our event currency spent, but we also need to get onto the next level quickly. So we get the key because it's the final place we could have got it from. Claim, ready to head inside, Eliza. Just feel the sand for a moment, are ya? You're right, but if we stay out here making sandcastles with the CHRONO ERLANG SHEN dragon, we'll never meet the birthday dragon. I'm skipping this and getting that ticket because before the reset hits, ideally we'd want to at least try and open one chest, because again, before the reset hits, you do want to try and get to the highest level possible. So on the off chance we get to, you know, find the key in our first chest, that's what we want to do. So we've got less than a minute left. Do you think we can make it in time? I don't know. Maybe if I super speed through these battles here. Oh, I don't know. It's gonna be close. This is why you shouldn't leave it until the last minute like I did. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's not a massive difference. It's only going to be an extra 50 if we can't make it in time. And even then, it's very unlikely we're going to get the key on our first chest. But still worth trying to get there, just in case. Fast. Yeah, we're running quick. 1! And we didn't get the key. So I guess this time we're just not going to be able to move on to level 3 that quickly. I guess I was being a little bit too hopeful. But it is one of those things that you learn as you play these events, that you just really have to try your best to get through as quickly as you can. So we are now 4 seconds away from the new reset. And now we can go and collect from these quests again. I'll just reset that. There you go. And we can collect another 200 from each of those quests. So now we can go and do that again and get more event currency and hopefully get onto level 3 this reset, so that then we start earning more currency for each task that we complete. So especially when you log in around the reset time, like myself, because I basically get in around about the reset timer. Sometimes you'll have to do a lot of the quests all at once, and the only problem with that really is the breeding, because obviously now I'd have to wait another 4.5 hours before I can do another breed. So in this case, Chronos can be really useful, or if you've got like an endless supply of second den relics, you can use those, but I don't have an endless supply of those, so I don't like wasting them, and it's generally not a good idea anyway. But then we can come back again. Well, let's try this one chest here, and then if we don't get the key in this chest, then we move on. So it is different from the previous castle event we had, because they reverted the previous changes, which does mean the key drops, you're going to be more likely to get them earlier on than you were for the previous event. But it doesn't mean that your chances are going to be high, because the more chests you've opened on the level, the higher your chance is of actually finding a key. But that does not mean that you are guaranteed to find a key until the final chest has been opened. So yes, most of us are probably going to have to open up at least 4 chests on every level before we find a key. That's normal, and on the later levels with this style of event, you are more than likely going to have to open up every single chest to get the key. But on the early levels, you'll get some lucky ones, like maybe on your 3rd chest or your 2nd chest even. And the better your key finding luck is, the sooner you can progress. But the idea is to try and go through the cheapest paths first, because if you get lucky and find a key early, that's great and you can progress quickly. But again, we don't have all of the maps out yet with all of the values, but I believe that this level here, level 2, is pretty much even. So we don't really need it for level 2, but level 3 onwards, knowing the cheapest paths will be very, very useful. But anyway, that is the castle event itself. We do, of course, also have Bottomless Dungeon this week, because we have Bottomless Dungeon every week. And inside here, we've also got VIP ticket, very useful. We've got some Relics of Exploration, which are okay. We do have some Portal Energy in here as well, which if you've got a lot of dungeon currency, you might even need to use that for one of the battles quests later on. You don't need it yet. But we should really just start a brawl. And then even if I'm not going to do it immediately, I'll just leave, come back in 15 minutes and we'll do it again. But the other thing that we have, which has caught everyone's attention, aside from the castle event and aside from the Bottomless Dungeon, is Sail Whale. Now, I'm going to pre-warn you that what you see here is big bait. This is noob bait, this is new player bait, this is a bad idea. And I think you know what I'm talking about. It's free. Now, there are 2 epic breeding tokens here. There's also a legendary breeding token for High Priestess. But the main one that's going to interest people is the fact that we have a divine in here that 1, wasn't announced, and 2, it's a divine that you can breed. Which, you know, based on what we saw before with the Ikez token, I'm not super surprised, but it is none other than Frigg, and Frigg was a dragon that I actually sold a good long while ago. Now, Frigg is a divine light and wind dragon, and yes, light is useful, but wind isn't very useful, and plus Frigg doesn't have the best stats of all time. It's got okay stats, but compared to other divines and other options from this event, Frigg is not a good option. But that's not even the main reason why you don't want to be doing this. When you spend 200 gems just under for this breeding token, you only get 1 day to breed it. Now, the problem with this is that we are currently in the middle of the castle event, which means that for that breeding dragons quest, you need to be available to do a new breed every 6 hours, and you need to do it for every single reset every time. If you don't, you will be wasting event currency and potentially ruin your chances in this event. It is such a bad idea to be breeding anything but the event dragons at the moment, unless you do have the extra den active. But even then, depending on when you sleep and when you need it, you might actually just be better off having a second den to like breed another war dragon in the second den, or 2 Luminos, for example. But that's only if you have the extra den active. If you've only got 1 breeding den, you can't really afford to be breeding the Dragon of the Month. You cannot afford to be breeding the Dragon of the Week. And God forbid that you actually end up breeding Frigg, because Divines have a super long breeding time, which would basically mean the entire event is taken over by this Frigg Dragon in there. It's such a noob bait decision to go for Frigg instead of Ancient Emissary, because just think about it. If you go for Ancient Emissary and you get the Shoot and Doji Dragon and you get the Altar Dragons, you could get your hands on Chrono Isis, which is a better, much better dragon than Frigg, because Chrono Isis has better stats, it's got a much stronger light, and I would say Void is a lot more useful than Wind on average. So Chrono Isis is better in like every single way, and breeding for Frigg will ruin your chances at getting Chrono Isis. I cannot stress enough how bad of a decision it is. It's just, it's not a good idea to go for that Frigg token, but Sail Whale is basically just trying to noob bait you, so don't fall for it. So yeah, that was a pretty big thing that people were like going crazy over earlier, because, you know, unexpected divine in the Sail Whale. It's not something you see every day, definitely not. The other thing that we had today was actually we had a new dragon revealed to us in the form of the Back to School dragon. And so I'm going to open up this link here because this was posted in the DML news section of my Discord server, but you'll see that we have the new Dragon Master Pass announced, and we've got this new dragon here, which you can see. There's the Back to School dragon. He's got his cute little hoodie on, he's got his nice little cap on. I'm a big fan of this dragon. I love dragons that wear human clothes and hats, and he just looks very cute. But the only way you can get him is if you spend and buy the premium section of the Dragon Master Pass. Nezha is also inside the Dragon Master Pass, and this kind of annoys me because it's like we've already got Ame no Uzume out at the moment in the Divine event itself, which is basically a reskinned Nezha. So seeing Nezha in the Dragon Master Pass as well, it's like we've basically got 2 of the exact same Divine. And it's just like, legitimately, if you open up the Chrono Isis collection, look at Ame no Uzume, Nezha has the same elements and they've got the same stats. It's exactly the same as Ame no Uzume. So if you were gonna go for Ame no Uzume free to play, what's the point of also having Nezha? You can't use both of them on the same team unless you like losing. I don't know, I think they could have just picked something more interesting than Nezha for the Dragon Master Pass, because, I mean, we are going to get that Dragon Master Pass in just under 2 days' time. So, I don't know, I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity myself, but, you know, we've already got that bonus Frigg coming out for us, so I guess I can't complain too much. but just don't fall for the noob bait of Frigg. I mean, I literally sold my Frigg dragon. Was it intentional? No, but I did, and I have felt no different. I feel no remorse. I do not care for it. Because that's what happens with useless divines. They might seem really cool and useful and interesting to like newer players, and if you don't have any divines, sure, divines are really exciting, like, wow, I'm gonna make my team so good and so cool. But the ones that have the less useful elements, they're just that, they're not useful. And you can't really fit them on a really good dungeon team when they have elements like wind in there. The only way you'd really be able to fit dragons like that, especially when we've got Freya, who's the best option. So if you pick Freya, you don't want to be doubling up on light, and then at the same time, imagine having Freya plus Frigg. It would just be a mess. Like, rather than getting Freya plus an Earth Divine, you go for Freya plus Frigg? No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Don't do it. It's just Freya's a much better option overall. You've got the healing, you've got the light element, so why would you need Frigg? You wouldn't. It's, I don't know. It's just a lot of divines are useless. Same with a lot of ancients. I say useless. They're much more useful than, say, epics. But they take a lot more resource-wise to actually upgrade in terms of enchantment mats. You've got to pay for the third elements. So, yeah, I don't know. You've got to be careful when you're trying to make a good team. The only way you can really fit them is if you have more than 3 team members, and not everyone's got the resources for that, so they can't do that. But the only other thing that we've really got to do here would be to do our final breed and then use our currency. I did just put in hour-long food though. Oh, I can't do it. I can't force myself. No, I would make myself sick if I decided to skip that with CHRONO, so I'm not going to do it. But we can try and open this chest. No, we're off by 10. No. Do I have enough second Den relics? Extra Den relics, I've got 8. Screw it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you the other breeding combination that you can use for this. If you do have an extra den and you're like in a situation like me where you can't really skip it for some reason, then the other combination that you can use is Earth plus Plant. Because this, not Plant, any plants, no thank you. You can use Earth plus Plant, but be aware that depending on your, I think it's the dragons that you've got unlocked, you can breed avocado with this, if I remember correctly. It's on the DML planet anyway, but I've already bred it, so I can't breed it. So the only available option for me is going to be tree, and again, with this combination, that will guarantee the 200 points that we need for this level. So then, we could go back to Divine Fest, a birthday, and we can open up this chest. Pray to RNG this. Go! No, that took a while. I was like, wait, did it actually give me what I wanted? No. So, again, this is an example of, in this case, me not getting the good luck. So we will still have to open up the remaining 2 chests on this level. Hopefully we get it by chest number 4 and not chest number 5. Because, again, the sooner you get the key, the better off you're going to be. If you get really bad RNG early, this event can suck. If you get roughly average RNG with opening up the chests and getting keys in like your 4th chest, then generally you can finish the event if you hit every reset with like, usually in these events it's about 2 days remaining. But again, depending on the elements that you have available to do level 6 can change that, and depending on if you've missed any resets. But if you hit all of them and you have all the elements available, normally there's over a day's worth of leeway to go. But speaking of this, we do also have, I believe this is accurate, the maps for each level on the DML wiki, so it can show you which elements are allowed on each level. And this is really important. I could have mentioned this earlier, but a lot of players that have played these castle events know this already. But the big question is, do you have the elements that you need to do level 5 and level 6? And according to the DML wiki, they've actually opened up the available elements to use by quite a lot. This looks really nice to me because you'll see that every single battle, according to the wiki right now, shows that we can use divines, ancients, legends, and primal. Apart from that one, you can't use legends in that one. But primal, ancient, and divine means that most older players or longer term players are going to have dragons to use on every battle, which is fantastic. Seems like they're implementing primal a lot now as well, so for any of you that have leveled up a primal, even though I don't recommend it, they'll probably help you in this event. And level 6, this is the big expensive one if you don't have the elements available. And one thing that you'll notice is that it seems like they had the old elemental restrictions that I'd expect, but they've added on Divine, Ancient, and Primal, which makes this event infinitely better than it was before. So, for instance, before I would have expected level 6 to only allow Plant and Light, for example, but it looks like now we can use Plant, Light, Divine, Ancient, Primal. But if you've got even a single Divine, looks like this event is free low for you, which is fantastic, to be honest. If you don't, then as long as you've got a light dragon, plant dragon, shadow dragon, you'll also be fine for most of these fights. I did not have a shadow or plant dragon to use, and that's why I was considering leveling up Autumn. But if this DML wiki map guiding is correct, then we will not need to do that. If every single castle event ends up being like this for the later levels, this is a gigantic improvement. And so I will be very, very happy about that. But I don't know why there's a level 7 here. Like, why is there a level 7? That's kind of freaking me out. It's like they've got 2 level 6s and they've accidentally put an extra tab there. Don't worry, I'm sure that's just an admin error. But I'm going to assume that this is correct for now. If it's not, and somehow you've encountered someone willing to spend enough money to spend all the way to level 6 on day 1, let me know whether it's true or not, but genuinely that looks a lot better than it used to be. So you know, whenever Gameloft do implement improvements, I'm more than willing to say, yep, that was a good idea, that was a good implementation. I highly support you in making changes like that. So, you know, aside from that, like I said, the only other main thing to focus on, apart from getting the event tickets from the castle event, and apart from getting the castle dragons themselves, is the dungeon grinding, which I've already been through quite a few times recently. And in the first few runs, you can mostly focus on KOs, but you should still always be aware of what the tasks are. But then I have to say, the first couple of runs, 100%, focus on getting these tasks done. These tasks are really important. No matter who you are, no matter what your player level is, the tasks are your key to winning these events. And you can get 2 divines free to play. Genuinely, you can. It's very doable. Chrono Isis is very doable free to play. It depends on how good your dungeon team is, and it also depends on how many gems you have saved up. With nearly 1,000 gems, I expect that Chrono Isis is doable, but in order to get Chrono Isis, we also need to get the Castle Event Dragon, Epic, Ancient Emissary, and Shootin' Doji. So you need to do 2 different parts of the event to get that dragon. So anyway, I am going to do the rest of this dungeon grinding on my own, where I'm not talking and not paying attention, because that is an easy way for me to screw up during the dungeon, as with most of us. Because genuinely, if you're just not paying attention, you will suffer in the dungeon. Maybe you won't notice that one of the dragons has used plant on your blesser, and then you don't bless, and then everyone dies. It happens. I get it. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Happens to the worst of us. So, yeah. Get into that grinding spirit. And since it's a new reset now, get logging in for your reset, get those event points, and get your dungeon runs going and flowing. But anywho, skis, for now, that should be just about everything I wanted to share regarding this birthday event. So, best of luck. I hope that you get your hands on CHRONO ERLANG SHEN and Ancient Emissary and these tasty tickets. And, again, when we get the castle event maps out, I will be sure to share it with you. But for now, thank you for joining me, and may you have fun.